Hi, and thank you for joining me for another Journal with Me session. This is again a session in my private journal, which is the Daphne's Diary junk journal that I made. And today's spread is going to be about a little excursion that two of my friends had yesterday, which was Saturday, to a town in Austria called Eisenstadt, which literally translated means city of iron. And it's a small city, and it's the capital of Burgenland, which is one of the Austrian provinces. It's about not quite an hour away by car from Vienna. And here you see me cutting some photos that I had made yesterday, and I had printed out at home with my little printer. And I decided to glue these back to back to then make a flip up. And the picture of this lady you see here is one of the princesses from the dynasty Esterhazy, who lived in the palace that we went to. It's called the Palace Esterhazy, which is the main point of interest in Eisenstadt. And it's a beautiful palace, and we took a tour there. And I really love this painting of this princess because she looks like a fairy. And I actually plan to make a fairy journal one of these days, so she really inspired me. And this yummy pastry you see on the top is called a Krapfen, and I think it's probably closest to what you might consider a filled donut. It has apricot jam in it, and it's really yummy. And here you see me putting some more pictures and a business card of this wonderful linen store that we found in the pedestrian zone. And oh my god, it had the cutest things. I could have bought everything in that store. I mean, look at their things. Look at these pillows. All of us bought things in there, and it was so hard to choose. And at the end, I will show you what I actually bought. So this is the Palace Esterhazy, and this is the concert hall where they still play concerts today. And this actually is the Haydn House where Joseph Haydn lived, and here that's inside the museum. And so Haydn, when he was promoted to become a conductor in 1766, he bought this house and lived there with his wife until 1778. And he worked at the court at the Esterhazy Palace for over 40 years. So it's a really nice combination of a tour to do the palace and the Haydn House. The Haydn House you can do with the audio guide in English as well. I'm sure the tour at the palace they would have in English as well. And it was such a lovely day. And we also had lunch at the palace, which was actually not very pricey. We had some prosecco and just a really lovely afternoon there, three of us, and just hanging out, having a relaxed day with some culture. It was just really nice. And so what I did here was that paper that was originally on the background was kind of too loud, and it took away the focal point of the pictures I had taken. So I decided to replace that with some music paper fitting for the Haydn theme. So I replaced that, put the photos and the business card on with washi, with some music washi actually. And then since the theme of that page was the linen of that store, I wanted to include a linen tab. And I thought, why not staple it? That might be a cool effect, but then I didn't like that at all. So I took them out again. I end up gluing that down instead. So next, I try to figure out what to do with these two tickets. of the 2 tours that we took, and I decided to glue them back to back and to actually make a tag out of that by very simply cutting the edges on the top like a tag shape. And I found the best way to do it symmetrically is just take that one triangle you took from one side, put it on the other side, and cut. That way you have the same diagonal. And then I just punched a hole, and I'm just putting an eyelet through there. And then I decide to quickly ink the edges, which you can't hardly even see on camera, the effect, but believe me, it's there. So I ink both edges, sorry, both sides of the tag, and then I decide to add some fabric there as well to continue with this linen and fabric theme. So I just glue these down with regular white glue. It's not a fabric glue, but it works just fine, I feel. So I just make a little collage, and then I decide to also add some lace. And I really like that effect of the fabric on that ticket. Just gives it a little something extra. And then I try to figure out what to do with the back, because the back didn't even have any photos on it. So I decide to use this brand new punch that I just got today from a craft exhibition. And I punch out, it's a 1 1/4 inch, like a square with scalloped edges shape. And so I punch out this music paper, and now I'm going through some stamps that I had just found yesterday at the flea market. Yes, I've been around a lot the last few days. It's been a bit crazy. So I decided to use these stamps that still have the shilling as a currency. So Austria changed from the shilling to the euro in 1999. And I think until 2002 you were still able to pay with the shilling. And now, so many years later, it seems really weird to even talk about the shilling. It seems so long ago. So I put those on, and then I decide I want to put that tag into a pocket. So I again go back to my music paper, and I make a little pocket. I decide to ink the edges again and to just fold the top edge over to make it a little less fragile when you keep putting the tag in and out, so that it doesn't tear, because that paper, of course, it's not like cardstock. It's pretty thin paper. So I glue that edge down, and then I just glue the sides. Excuse me. And then I put that down, and then I try it, and I realize it's too narrow and it's not gonna work. So then I think, what can I do now? So then I use this other scrap piece, and I decide to make another pocket, but this time I make it like with this diagonal cut, and because that should be easier to just put the tag in and out. So I ink that up again, and I glue that down on 2 sides, and that works much better. It's a bit tricky with those fabric bits on it so that they don't get stuck while putting it in, but it worked out in the end. And then I also wanted to include some fabric and lace on that pocket just to make it all cohesive. So I quickly glued those down as well. Next, I take some eyelash trim that I had tea dyed, and I just stick that through the eyelet. Then I take some yarn and also tie a little bow around that trim. And so my tag was finished. And then I wanted to also add something as a background to that page, and I had just gotten this leaf stencil from the craft show from today. So since it's fall and I haven't really done anything to what do you say, to acknowledge that it's fall, I decided to at least put those leaves there, which worked out quite nicely. And then I also wanted to decorate this page underneath these photos, so I decided to put down this fabric trim so that it sticks out a little bit. Just make sure that it's straight. And then again I go through my stamps and try to pick some, and I stick to this theme of old shilling stamps, and I make a little collage down at the bottom, and so I just choose some that I think might work, and I just play around with those a little bit and then use some of those. This was quite a nice deal. This was a book full of stamps, and a lot of the themes of those stamps are actually birds and flowers, which was actually what I was going for. And originally the guy wanted 10 euros for it, and I managed to get him down to 5. So it's okay, it's not mega cheap, but I was happy with that. And the booklet is cute, so I'm going to keep using that booklet for other stamps as well. I was quite happy. But I had some very nice finds there yesterday at the flea market. I found some other vintage books with flowers in it, and I actually found this really cute little kind of like a diary thing where someone was collecting poems from other people. So everybody wrote like poems in it by hand, and some people made drawings, and really, really cute. I was really happy about that one. And some other books that were really nice finds. So here I just added another stamp on the top, put the date down, and now I'm just writing about the afternoon that we had. So we started off by walking on the pedestrian zone and just stopping in a few shops. Then we had the lunch at the Palace, and then we had the tour at the Palace, then we had the tour at the Haydn House, and then we went for some coffee or tea and pastries, actually, some typical Austrian coffee house. And we were so lucky with the weather. It was sunny and not too cold, and it was just a really, really nice, relaxing day, you know, with your besties, and just chilled and hanging out together and just really, really having a nice day. So at the end of this, you're gonna see the products so there's 3 things I bought at that amazing linen shop, and maybe someday I will go back and buy more because I just love their things. And we all 3 of us left quite a bit of money there. And the things that I bought, I actually plan to use them all for art supplies, but I haven't figured out what yet. So there's the smallest one. I mean, isn't that adorable? It's all hand embroidered. There's a bigger one. It's made so nicely, and this is like a little linen basket, a round basket. Beautiful embroidery. And yeah, so I need to find things for that. Absolutely love them. So thanks so much for hanging out with me. That's it for today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.